Hello everybody, we are Elektrik. I'm John, this is Ben. We're from just outside of Manchester, up in Thills.
Nice. In the hills of the Ribble Valley.
Yep.
Although the studio's in Accrington.
In Accrington.
Exactly.
Ben would rather say the Ribble Valley. Yeah, little studio just on the outskirts of Manchester, which is probably one of my favourite things of where we live. It's only 20 minutes down the road, and if you want to have a nice quiet night, you can have a quiet night. But if you want to get involved, you can just drive down and get involved. What about you?
I like pretty much that you can wake up on a Sunday with a hangover and it's just sheep, cows and fields and stuff and no sirens going off, so I can get through my Sundays and recover, ready for a painful week of studio and beats.
And not having to deal with anybody from a city.
Indeed. My inspirations in music starting off were probably Gatecrasher, going to Gatecrasher when I was a youngster, causing a bit of a scene there really and absolutely loving it. Fell in love with house music. I was into trance and stuff then. Even when I first started DJing, probably even the happy hardcore days and that sort of stuff. I'm really going back.
Yellow
hair, dyeing my hair yellow and raving around like a crasher kid was really what I was into. And then I got into Sasha and Digweed and sort of progressed my sound and what I wanted to do that way. Also, James Abeli is a big influence of like DJing as well. His style. I'm a bit of a gadget geek. I like all that sort of stuff. You, John?
Mine's more band stuff really, like Daft Punk, Chemical Brothers, and bands really. Growing up, going to festivals and things like that. So in the end of it, we ended up getting quite a good eclectic mix. Ben being into quite hard stuff, and me a little bit more subtle, if you will.
Yeah.
And French house. I love French house.
Defected's been a massive part of what I've always been into as well. Love Defected. Anything on that sort of label and house.
Mix that with Gatecrasher, and you end up getting
we're pretty much sort of proggy sound and like groovy techno as well, aren't we?
Yeah. In between.
Sound.
Most memorable DJ gigs?
I would say when we did, we were lucky enough to play at Creamfields for the 10th anniversary. I think it was 2008 on the Residence Terrace. Because a friend of mine was a promoter then, Jamie Harvey. He used to put on big events locally. And through that, we managed to do the gig down there, and it was just amazing. Got all access passes, and just got to
Monkey Up.
Yeah, we came on with monkey masks and DJ'd the bit with monkey masks. In fact, we turned up and the tent was completely empty, and we were like absolutely gutted, thinking this is going to be a nightmare. So our set just went out the window, and we just ended up playing like classics. And by the end of the day, we just completely filled the tent, and it was a really good gig, one of the most memorable one, I'd say, for sure.
If you were to go through Ben's iPod, you wouldn't find anything without a kick and a snare drum. In fact, most of it is just a kick and a snare drum.
Minimal is what I'm listening to at the moment. I'm loving minimal because
two-channel techno.
I just like techno and minimal. I don't know why. We don't really make any of that, but I'm obsessed with minimal. Even though it's out of fashion now, everyone's into deep house because that's a cool sound. But I'm loving minimal and techno at the moment for some bizarre reason. Well, because it's good.
I'd say mine's probably a bit more eclectic. When I've pulled up at the studio, sometimes Ben's heard what's blaring out in my car, and I just basically get dogged for 10 minutes for what's on there. It's a bit of everything, really. A bit of classical, a bit of deep house, a bit of progressive house, a bit of rock, a bit of Meatloaf.
I'm liking Kasabian and the Kooks as well. I listen to quite a bit of them, but that's the only sort of band thing. And Jay-Z, but I fell out with hip-hop a bit.
Yeah, so there's a bit of everything, really, I think, on both.
Indeed.
Yeah. Favourite piece of studio gear? At the moment, it changes quite a lot.
Machine we like at the moment.
Yeah,
Just
Machine.
getting into using Native Instruments Machine at the moment.
Yeah, it's quite good. Overloud Reverb, been using that quite a lot. As we used to use Quick Quack Fusion, which is like you can just literally turn the wet up and leave the dry on, but Reverb quite a bit at the moment. Tend to find one thing and
stick with it,
abuse it.
Yeah.
But I'd say the most integral piece of the studio is the big knob. Cannot stop playing with that.
Always need a big knob.
You always need a bit. We've actually got two big knobs now. We've got one on there. We've got one on the computer, the Waves big knobs. So I've got two massive knobs to play with.
Loads of knobs.
Just full of knobs in here. What advice would you give someone who was just starting to get into the music industry now?
I would say to be persistent and determined, and don't get disheartened, because you're going to get knocked back a hell of a lot of times. We have loads of times, but we knew that our music's at a level that if we keep knocking on the doors, eventually you'll break through and you'll get on some decent labels and hopefully get some decent gigs.
Yeah, as well, if you make a mistake, great, you made a mistake, learn by it, move on, as long as you learn from it.
Yeah, learn from your mistakes.
Doesn't
and
matter.
Remember the mistakes you've made so you don't make them again. And yeah, just be persistent, keep going.
Determination.
Determination is the key.
Thanks everybody for coming joining us in our studio up here in Thills.
Check out our tracks on www.celect.com.
Ben, John, nice plug. Ben and John, Celect. Cheers.
Bye.